All right, we're live. Hey guys, once again, Frank with Tithely. Great to see everyone. We've been getting a lot of folks jumping on the show live, so appreciate you coming. Appreciate you if you're watching it recorded. Either way is awesome. I'm pumped for our guest today, Randall from Grace City Church. You're the founding pastor and lead pastor, and you happen to be in, I guess, La Jolla, but San Diego at large. So we're kind of in the same
Yeah,
city.
yeah.
And we've known each other for a few years now through a mutual friend, Russ
Mhm.
Cantu.
Yep.
So, man, it's great to have you this morning.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Great to be
Yeah.
here.
And you're coming to us live from your home office, it looks like.
Yeah, basically in the living room right here.
That's
So
right.
if you see my kids running around, my wife running this way or that way, that's what's happening. We're
Perfect.
here at home,
Look,
sheltered in place.
it feels like every show that we've been doing these for a month now, every morning, for the most part, and I've increasingly had kids running around behind me. So as much
Hey,
as we try to, like, I'm like sheltered in place in the office. Really, it's just a bedroom, but like up away. But
yeah.
they still manage to make their way in here. So
Oh, yeah,
um,
yeah. They got to make their cameo for the live feed, you know?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
part of
I
it.
was talking with a friend, someone coworker too at Tithely, and they're like, "Well, so far so good. Hopefully, one of them doesn't run on camera naked behind you, like after a shower." So if that
Yeah.
hasn't happened, we're
I
doing
worry
good.
about that with my kids, most definitely.
Just running through.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Oh, yeah.
well, cool. Why don't you give the audience a little background on you, like, who you are, how you got into ministry, how you decided to plant a church, and we can kind of go from there.
Cool. Yeah. Believe it or not, I've been in ministry for about 15 years. So
Come on,
I,
you're only like
I'm
22,
no,
so
dude, I am 37 years old. I almost forgot the other day. I was like, am I 38? I'm like, no, I'm 37. But yeah, I've been in
I
ministry
do the
for
same thing.
15 years and started out in youth ministry. So did that for 8 years. It was a blast. Loved it. That's where God saved me when I was a kid. I was in youth ministry, and it was a friend who invited me. So God saved me in that space, and just really felt called to that. And then a friend called me and said, "Hey, would you consider planting a church?" And he was one of the youth pastors in my life that really invested in me. So it kind of came full circle,
Were you
right?
in San Diego? Are you born and raised in San Diego area?
No, so I'm originally from Hawaii and then grew up
Got it.
in
Okay.
Indianapolis and then was working at the time in Savannah, Georgia. So I've been all over the
Hawaii to
map,
Indy.
dude.
I don't even
I know,
understand that move.
I know. But we've been all over the map. So at that time I was there, but uh, yeah, just God started stirring in me and my wife's heart. And we said, if there's a need there, a legitimate need to plant a church, then we'll go check it out. And so that's what we did.
Hmm.
And from there, God placed it on our heart to come out. And Grace City, coming up on 5 years
Yeah.
as a church, and it's been cool to see what God's been doing over those years.
Yeah, yeah. And you guys planted, did you go through like Arc or Stadia or any of
Yeah,
the church planting kind of networks?
yeah, we went through Stadia and
Okay.
went through all the assessment and everything, and so they
Shout
got
out
us
to
set up.
Stadia.
Shout out to
Stadia's great.
Stadia.
Yeah,
Yeah,
great partners. We've actually helped probably 50 to 60 Stadia church plants over the last couple of years. So,
right on.
big fans of
That's
those
great.
guys.
Yeah, yeah. So we love it, and yeah, we've been going, and so right now we're in a season where we've been talking with a church that's in our neighborhood, in our community, that has been here for about 40 years, but it's a 150-year-old church. So it's the
Wow.
oldest church in San Diego. And we've been
No
talking
way.
about, yeah, it's literally the first church in San Diego, First Baptist of San Diego. And so they are the first. But we've been talking
Wow.
about what would it look like to come together, be one church in our community, to share the hope of the gospel to our
Right.
neighborhood. And so, yeah, we're in the middle of that right now while we're going through everything that we are.
Because you guys, I guess to just dive into that for a little bit, you guys have been in kind of the La Jolla area for a while, and you're like renting a school or renting other facilities for the first X number of years. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
how
We really,
did you make contact with this church and build that relationship? And aren't you guys meeting in that building now? Like, are you, what
yeah,
does
we
it look,
were, we
what does it
were.
look like to like join forces with another church that's been around for 150 years?
Oh man, it's been really cool. I think I've learned a lot. So I've been friends with Scott, who's the pastor of First Baptist, since we came into the community, and his heart
Yeah.
has always been for the gospel and for the kingdom. So it's been cool as the years progressed to be able to get to this place where we said, you know what, like, what would it look like to join together, to be
Yeah.
a stronger presence for the gospel here in our community. And it really was birthed out of a friendship, right? It wasn't out of
Yeah.
need necessarily. The school, we loved the school. We were meeting at UC High School throughout, and we really enjoyed it there. But it just felt like there was a new season that
Hmm.
was happening in our church.
Right.
And Scott and I say, I think we're probably end up writing a book someday about all of what we've been through. But just to
Yeah.
see uh, a church that, for our church, we were pretty young, but now it's very multi-generational, which is super cool.
Right. Right. Yeah, man, that's cool. I know we're not here to necessarily go into all of that, but I think it's just a cool
Yeah.
story.
Oh yeah.
Um, I don't know how often that happens. I mean, I hear of churches and buildings being donated and that kind of stuff, but two churches to sort of like legitimately coming together when there are still, hundreds of or so people like going to the churches and all that, I think is maybe unique. I don't know. Maybe it's not.
Yeah.
um,
If people are looking for a great book on that, Better Together is a great book that we went through. And if anybody's thinking about it, but it's actually happened a lot more
really.
in America. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. Better together. Okay, noted. Someone, if you're watching live, find that book and post the link to the Amazon book in the comments. So let's talk about going to church online during the coronavirus. We're in week, 8 or 9, depending on when you started meeting from home. What's that been like for you guys? Were you live streaming before? When did you kind of start? What was the first day of full remote service? Kind of how have you transitioned into that?
Yeah, we were streaming the whole time. We've streamed since the beginning of the church of Grace City, and so we've been streaming live. But I think for us, it's we're missing the relationships, we're missing the being able to be together part. But
Yeah.
as far as the technical side, uh, it's been a work in progress. It's been a work in progress because there you start
As for
out.
most, we're all
Yeah, yeah. You start out and you have this idea in your mind of this is how our stream looks like. This is the
right.
quality level, and then you start to watch it from your home, and you're like, we got to work on this.
Because you were
This
on the
isn't
other side of the camera. Like
exactly.
most people, that's probably true. Like for most
Yeah,
people they were on the other side if they were streaming. They weren't really consuming that content
yeah,
as like an end user, a consumer of the
yep,
content. And so all of a sudden, when you're put in that spot, yeah, I love that. I love that you kind of learn from that.
yeah. So you're watching and you're saying, oh, we should be doing this, or how can we make it more personal? Because uh, you know, I remember the first Sunday, and I was actually sick that Sunday, so I wasn't there. But we did it on the main stage like it was just a normal service.
Okay.
And from home, watching it, it was good for me to have that perspective, to see what it was like if we were to continue to do it that way, right? And so I
Yeah.
think that week, like, we got a great team of people who are flexible and like, hey, we need to work on this, and we want to make it the best it can be. And
Yeah.
so our worship guy Billy, he's like, okay, how can we build a studio out in the space that we have? What do we need to get? Lights, all those types of things. And so we were kind of ahead of the curve in a sense, because a few weeks earlier we were like, hey, things are kind of changing a little bit. And what if something like this
Mhm.
did happen? Let's start ordering equipment now, because it's going to be out quick
Right.
once everything
Yeah. Which it
changes.
which it is, right? Like all the gear, not all, but you know, a lot of the stuff people need is gone right now.
Yeah, a lot of the good tech that people, cheap stuff that's good, that it works.
Hmm.
It was gone. So very early on, we were able to get like a newer computer for editing, some lighting, testing things out beforehand. So our team was ready to make that switch once it
Right.
happened, and then let's experiment. Let's try some new things.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love that. And I mean, it's almost a pro tip, like as a church leader, especially as like a senior pastor who's normally up there teaching, preaching, kind of creating the service, it's probably a really good idea for every church leader out there to watch their live stream or to watch their pre-recorded service after it's over,
Yeah.
and watch it from the perspective of, a church member, a consumer of the content, to see what that feels like. Because I
Most
think that's going to
definitely.
just gives you a lot to think about, a lot to understand, and it puts you in a different position. Because when you're putting it on, you're thinking about it, but you're not experiencing it. Like
Yeah.
you're experiencing the whole different side of it. That's not what, the normal churchgoer is seeing. So I love that. What kind of gear did you guys get into? So you were going first Sunday, and then all of a sudden you're like, you got some gear. Maybe give us the list. Like, what are the top 5 pieces of equipment that you guys needed to do this well?
Oh man, I think Billy would be able to answer that better than I
Where's
could.
Billy? Billy, get in the
Where's
comments.
Billy at? I can tell you what I went through, because
Yeah.
for me, I had kind of put tech aside for a while. In youth ministry, you're innovating, you're creating videos all the time, you're creating content, right? And so I loved doing that, and whether
Right.
it was starting out with iMovie and just creating simple videos through that, then
Yeah.
kind of moving into, okay, what does it look like to mess around with Premiere, and how do I edit through Premiere? And so I did that when I was in youth ministry, but then when I got into church planting, I kind of put it to the side, man. Like
Hmm. Hmm.
with all the other things that I've got going on, and so what I've learned through this is I'm having fun, kind of experiencing again and exploring some of the tech stuff that's out there
Yeah.
that I wished I had when I was a youth minister, right? Because it would have made my life so much easier to create content, because you had those camcorders, or something like that, and
Yep.
you're trying to like plug in this thing and make it. Now it's like you take your
You
phone
just
and,
grab this, right? It's
dude,
like,
yeah, and also like a camera, like it'll wirelessly go to your, if you have the app or whatever, it'll go to
right,
your
right.
computer and all that. So it's crazy just what's available now, and being able to edit something at a high quality is so much easier.
So
Um,
are you, like, we kind of talked a little bit before in terms of your personal stuff, like what are you doing to educate yourself and get back into the tech side of things? You put it aside. It's probably true for lots of senior pastors who are, they're thinking about the whole church. It's like they're not spending all their time on tech and comms. And so how are you
yeah.
jumping back in? What kind of resources and content are you consuming to educate and learn along the way?
Yeah. So YouTube is a great resource. And what I found is, uh, there's
We
content
got a
out
good
there.
hashtag real quick. We got the Where's Billy hashtag
I love that. I
from
love that.
Mr. Doug Loverin.
So, Think Media is doing a great job online,
Yep.
with
Yep.
just creating content. So we talked about this before we jumped on, like the M50, Canon M50 is affordable, but yeah, you can get some really high quality content from that. And so I've been watching a lot of Think Media and what they're putting out there as far as just simple gear you can get. And
Yep.
the cool thing is in the comments.
Sean Cannell. Sean,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
always get
yeah,
his last name wrong, but
yeah.
anyways, yeah, over at Think Media.
And so they're doing some cool things, but they're making it simple, right? So it's like you look in the comments, you got the whole kit, the gear kit that
Right.
you can get on Amazon. Again, just
Like
like we
buy this
talked.
camera with this lens, this mount, this light, this whatever. They put the
Yeah,
whole kit together, and they've got videos that are cool, like, live streaming on a budget. And so you can find
exactly.
live streaming on a budget video, and they put the whole kit together for you and give you some, basic tips on how to set it up. So yeah, that's a great channel. Think Media is
Oh,
awesome.
most definitely. And Moment lenses are great. And so if you go on YouTube,
Wow.
you look up Moment. This is all about the phone, right? And so it's like you got this right here in your pocket, and a lot of the time what we'll do is just simple things, right? Like you'll take a video and we'll do it like this. One of the things that we need to know is that the front facing camera right here is the worst one on your camera or on your phone,
Right.
right? It's the worst one. And so we're taking it with the lowest quality, looking really bad, and we don't even realize it. And so all you got to do is just flip it around, and you got this great camera on the other side that's built in. And so how can you figure out how to make video instead of like this, and flip it around?
Right.
Just simple tips,
I even
right?
think Media, their YouTube channel, even has tips on like how to do great video with your iPhone. So you can
Yeah,
even watch that, and you probably go from, a level 1 skill to a level 5 or 6 skill based on watching one video, right?
that's it.
In
So
terms of
yeah,
how you produce stuff.
you're able to level up pretty quickly, and that's what I'm finding. I need to be
Yeah.
able to do that if I'm sharing content, because for me, I believe this is the most important content in the world, right? We're sharing the gospel. And so how am I sharing the content with the level of quality which it deserves, right? It should
Yeah.
be at a high quality that we're doing this, and it's not going to break the bank to do that. So being able to just quickly, hey, what does it look like to do this on my phone? If I want to upgrade a little bit, you can get lenses for your phone from Moment. Watching some of these videos, just getting, like we talked about earlier, like a little Joby tripod, and being able
Yeah.
to have that available.
Like better lighting, a little bit better lighting helps the video quality a ton.
Oh man,
Little
so it's
bit
just
better
pro tips.
camera, right?
Yeah.
Like you're using a Logitech, what did you say?
Yeah, so the webcam is a Logitech Brio. It's a 4K camera right on your computer, right? And so what
Right.
it does is, this thing's amazing. It'll adjust lighting and everything behind you to make it a high quality resolution.
Right. Like it's significantly better, the quality of just the simple webcam, Logitech Brio.
Okay.
What was it? Probably I don't know, $100 or something like that. Maybe a little more.
This was like 200, but
okay, $200.
Yeah, but you can get,
it's $200 for the quality of what I see right now compared to the normal MacBook camera is night and day better.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that, right? For a long time, I didn't realize that that's what I'm working with. So
right. Yeah. So what kind of content? So there's all these. Everybody go check out Think Media. They'll tell you all this stuff. They're better at the tech gear than we are.
Oh, most definitely.
What kind of content are you guys producing? Like when you're, so I need some better gear. I love what you said. Like the quality of this content needs to be better because it's the best message. It's the greatest message ever told, right? So we should make sure it's coming through great. Like what kind of stuff are you guys producing other than your weekend live stream? What other stuff are you guys doing?
Well, there's always going to be update videos and things like that you're going to be working with, right? And so doing those types of things. But for me, one of the things that I've been experimenting with is doing just a Monday, every Monday, breaking down a verse that we're memorizing as a church. And so I started, if you were to watch some of the earlier videos, again, I'm doing it like this, right? I'm doing the front facing thing, low quality, bad lighting, all of that stuff. And in my mind, I'm thinking, this doesn't look great. So how can I start to do some simple things that will help to make this better? So I've been experimenting with just doing that every Monday, just trying to make this a little bit better. And and one of the editing softwares that I found that's super simple, and you can get it on your phone, is Adobe Rush, Premiere Rush. And it's cool because I had Scott, who's one of the pastors that I work with, right? He asked me, he said, what are you editing on? How do you get those words on the screen? That type of thing.
Yeah.
And
how'd you add that? Yeah.
yeah. And it's like, dude, it's super simple. It's Rush. It's Premiere Rush. You can get it on your phone.
You'll do a video with your back cam from your iPhone, and then you'll edit it on your phone with Adobe Rush.
I can, yeah. Usually what I'll do is I'll edit on my computer because I kind of like to see the detail a little bit more. But there are plenty of people and videos on how to do it through your phone. So it syncs up with your phone, with your iPad, with your desktop, whatever you've got. Just that was the amazing thing about Rush. And so getting back into this, I'm like, dude, I wish I had this back when I was creating content as a youth pastor.
Yeah, totally. So Monday videos, any other stuff that you're trying to do?
Well, we're trying to explore what it would look like to do something like this, right? So something where we would be able to have just talking about big issues that are going on in the world right now, and creating content around that, Q&As, that type of thing. So we do like a Wednesday prayer live stream that goes out, but those are some of the things that we're doing. But I think there's other ways that we can engage, and so I don't want to just start it, right? And then we don't do it like a few weeks later. Like I want it to be sustainable. So I'm like trying to do the research on making sure that when we start it, we do it right, and we do it at a high quality.
Yeah, we started doing these kind of live interviews. We're on week 5.
Yep.
I think you should get some of the kids and the wife in the camera right now, just because we can hear them. So we're like, we might as well meet them. So it's totally fine. Oh, there it is.
That's my world right now.
So no, I get it, man. I got 3 kids, homeschooling, trying to run over here. They're on pretty much every show, so I'm surprised they haven't come in yet. But we've been doing this. This is week 5. We've been doing them every day, and they're pretty low key. There's not a whole lot of production going on, but this tool called StreamYard is fantastic for letting you put a little background in, having a couple guests. You can get 2-3 guests on pretty easily. You can share your screen. So it's a great tool. It's really cost effective. I don't remember exactly, but you could probably go to StreamYard.com, see their pricing. It's like $20 a month or something like that. But it lets you kind of, like, Zoom is amazing for lots of things. We use Zoom all the time for lots of stuff, but Zoom doesn't give you kind of the way to brand it with your background and some of these other little elements. So StreamYard is like where you can put a show like this on, and it's super easy to do. So it's low cost, really easy to use, and gives you like a little bit more from a branding and customization perspective than like Zoom does. So we've been loving it, like StreamYard for anybody. And if you guys are looking into doing it, just check out StreamYard. It's a great tool.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out. Check that
out. Well, I guess, like, in wrapping up, anything that you guys have been learning about, and like we talked about tech, we talked about some of the kinds of content you're creating. Like, what are you learning about what's really connecting with your church, like with the members, whether it's in the live stream or your Monday videos or your prayer times? Like, where do you feel like, man, we're figuring this out? This thing that we're doing digitally is really working.
Oh, I don't know if we're at that place where we're like, man, we're crushing this or that.
Just learning. Like you feel like you're making progress.
I just have to acknowledge it's hard for everybody, right? It is hard to do this, and I think the biggest win for us is just making sure that we're connecting with the people, and that we're listening, and we're answering the questions that people are really asking, and that we're, like on the prayer stream, we got a section where people are making comments and they're adding prayer requests and all that. And so I think just staying connected to people is the most important thing, and the personal touch. It's not going to be through a video, that's going to make the huge difference. It's going to be through a phone
Right.
call. It's going to be through a text message. It's going to be through
the regular
connecting.
phone, like you call people.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
video. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
So we'll do FaceTime. I FaceTime with people, and there is that Zoom fatigue. I feel like people are experiencing right now too. But yeah, just trying to do the best we can with what we have, and do it at a quality that I feel like is going to be something that is helpful to people.
Yeah. No, connecting is everything. And people dig it. Here's another one. We appreciate y'all. I wonder where they're from. South Carolina, North Carolina. I used to work out there a ton, so y'all was all around, but we appreciate y'all and don't mind the background cameos. That's life. We're thankful for the information you're sharing. So appreciate that. Thanks for the shout out. And Randall, man, this has been great. And I think, all the tech, how we do it, it's not really the point. It's just like, can we make what we're delivering, the quality super high, because we want to connect with the people and make it engaging. And it's just different, right? I think all of us are learning that connecting digitally is so different than connecting in person.
Yeah.
And just love all the practical tips you shared today, your experience, what you guys are going through, and appreciate your time, man. Thanks for coming on.
It was a blast, man. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. If you're joining us, man, say hi to Randall. Give the show a like, comment, anything like that, and we'll be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific, talking to more church leaders during COVID-19 and doing church online. So appreciate you guys. Randall, thanks again. Have a great time preaching this morning. I know you're recording after this, so have a good one.